thank you all for coming. The first and most vital bit of the agenda tonight is to the chairman of the council before we do anything else.
I'd like to propose Councillor Sheldon.
I'll second it.
All those in favour?
Anyone else? The main assumption that I'm going to accept is
You need to get the other one for the vice chair.
so the next item on the agenda, therefore, is to appoint the vice chair of the council. So, could I have a nomination, please?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Brown.
Shall I ask this out? Then will, Miss Whittle.
Anyone else? In that case, those in favour, please vote. We will do the declarations of acceptance shortly, assuming you're content to.
Yes.
Thank you. So, to receive declarations of interest, requested dispensations in the normal way. If there's anything that comes up, because I've not been notified of anything that causes a clash,
Apologies,
not at this stage.
it just is.
Follow the agenda.
Yes.
As far as I know, there are no declarations of interest that are required at the moment. Anything comes up, please declare it immediately and we'll deal with it. So item 7 is therefore to appoint members of the Organisation and Finance Working Group, which is a total of 5 members. I propose to continue to have the chairman of the VBT, myself, and 2 relevant vice chair, plus 1 other. Although I would prefer.
I nominate Councillor Howell.
Well, before we go any further, anyone wish to say?
I nominate Councillor Howell.
Okay, Councillor Wales. Yes?
I don't think that our standing orders require that it's both chairs and both vice for that committee.
Why is that?
Well, it's a statement. I don't believe that our standing orders require both chairs and both vice.
No. I was not pretending it was a requirement to do that. I said it's what I propose because I think it is important that those 4 people are part of the organisation and finance working group. It's a proposal for the council plus 1 other. What are people's views? I take it you would prefer an alternative.
I would prefer an alternative. I would prefer that the importance of that group actually shares its responsibilities with the wider group than 4 of the 5 being both chairs and both vice.
Is there another? Does anyone else?
I disagree. I propose all 5 that you nominated.
Does anyone else want to contribute anything? Either for, against, or otherwise?
I guess it's a working group, right? So
It's a working group. It is
so
not
it
taken.
discusses things and then presents back to the council for
Correct.
decisions to be made by the full council.
It is not a decision-making body.
Yeah.
Its principal function, other than the obvious, is to prepare a budget, prepare it, not produce the final version, but to prepare, actually work on it. And anything of that nature, it's a working group only. In addition, it doesn't meet very often. It meets rather more in the run-up to the budget than on any other occasion. And I'm very keen that, unlike last year,
This is not the point for this, Mr. Chairman.
Well,
We're nominating the members of the committee. I've made a proposal. Would somebody like to second it?
I'd like to stand for that post, please. And I'd like to speak, if I may. Okay.
No, I actually object to that.
You've
We're
nominated
here
yourself,
to-
but you've not
We
been
have
seconded.
nominated members for this committee. We're not discussing what the committee does. It's an evening where we nominate people for positions and we decide on them. If there are other things to discuss, they should be put forward as proposals for another council meeting. I have made my proposal. Would somebody like to second it?
Chair, may I speak? We did agree that if there were oversubscription to groups, that if there were contenders, that those people would be allowed to speak. And I would like to speak in order to try and gain a seconder.
okay.
Thank you. Okay, over the last 3 years I've built a detailed and practical understanding of this council's governance, decision-making and audit environment. As we enter the final year of this council's term, the expectation from our community should be clear that committees must be formed on capability, not comfort. If we are serious about acting in the best interests of residents, then we should be selecting the strongest possible mix of skills, experience and independence of thought. Anything less risks appearing insular, performative and ultimately indifferent to outcomes. My professional background includes responsibility for budgets of over £1 million within a governance framework. I hold corporate governance qualifications, have been a member of the Corporate Governance Institute and have developed a strong working knowledge of audit and accountability processes as they apply to councils over the past 3 years. This is directly relevant to improving both the robustness and the credibility of our financial governance. I do not assume appointment or second, however I do expect that decisions about committee membership are made on a rational, transparent basis. If members choose not to appoint the individuals with directly relevant qualifications and experience to roles where those skills are plainly applicable, it raises a simple question on what basis are those decisions being made. Our residents are entitled to expect that we prioritise effectiveness over familiarity and delivery over preference. For completeness, my background includes a BA Honours degree in Politics and Sociology from Oxford Brookes University. I hold an international MBA from the Georgia State University in the United States. I also have current Chartered Governance qualifications and I have professional experience in governance, audit and organisational leadership.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Point of order, can the person nominate themselves?
Yes.
I didn't think that was possible. I thought they had to be nominated
No.
by someone else.
Yeah, my understanding is that you may nominate yourself. Does somebody wish to second Councillor Winkler? In which case, you propose.
I propose that the two chairs, the vice chair and councillor Allen be nominated for the ONF work group.
Councillor Blair is in favour as the seconder. Right, we have a motion. All those in favour of what has just been proposed, that's the 2 chairs, the 2 vice chairs and Councillor Howell, please indicate.
Can I just check
Oh, sorry.
if people would like to hear my qualifications and experience?
Yes, perhaps that would be appropriate.
Okay. So I haven't prepared anything, but I'll just give a brief summary. So I have 40 years of finance experience as a chartered accountant, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants. I've chaired audit committees both in the public sector and the private sector for over 30 years. I chaired the Vale of White Horse Audit Committee for over 10 years. I've been responsible for production of accounts for a listed PLC in London for the last 10 years. And I think from a overall process perspective, looking at the audit and governance and everything else, I think I can bring skills to the committee. Having been through a difficult year, I recognise I've not been playing a full role in council over the last year, but that now sadly has come to an end, and I now want to engage in health with
terms of reference of the Personnel Committee, which have been circulated to everybody, I hope you've read them. They're not of themselves great change. They can contain a bit more detail than we've had in the past. I would see nothing particularly contentious in them. That's my view. Anybody else? Councillor Winfield.
Just a clarification on item 3 on these terms of reference over the minutes. I think that the terms of reference need to make it clear that minutes are required to be issued for all personnel committee meetings, even those matters which have taken place in confidential session. They must be artfully written, but they must be, it must be possible for the public to understand what was discussed without disclosing confidential information. For clarity, I've actually got...
I believe that is the correct legal position. I entirely agree with you.
Yeah, in case anybody has any query about that, I've actually printed out the recommendations and how this should be done from the Local Government Act, the LGA 1972. So the full minutes artfully crafted in order that they don't release any confidential information or sensitive information. So I anticipated that everybody would argue that that wasn't what the that wasn't what the legislation says, so I've just prepared that. So the wording does need to reflect inappropriateness. It does not exclude the validity of confidential meetings. Thank you.
So, that's everybody got anything? My view, I'm happy to accept the terms of reference as written, but anybody else has got anything to say, please? In that case, I'm happy to propose. Can somebody second them, please? Councillor Brown. Those in favour, please, of adopting these terms of reference?
With proviso of what I said.
No, it's a legal requirement. It's a legal requirement, that's why I'm not worried about it. We're happy with it. So the next thing is to appoint members of the Personnel Committee. This is once again my view that it is still the most important thing for the chairs and the vice chairs to attend. And we have 5 members. The 5th member who I would propose is Councillor Page, who has indicated, should we vote for it, that he would accept. And the reason I'm picking Councillor Page, for anyone who's unsure, is that he has a background in HR and he's also a qualified lawyer. And as such, he brings skills to the Personnel Committee that the rest of us may not have.
I second that, Mr. Chair.
I was going to second that.
In fact, actually, had it not been proposed by anyone, I was to propose it myself.
I was going to second
After
that.
discussion with him.
Okay.
I'll
In
second
that case, anybody got a comment to make at this point?
No, I think Richard's been a really good addition to the committee.
In which case, could I have a vote of support for the motion as proposed? Thank you. So we move on to members of the Planning Committee.
Mr. Chair,
Sorry.
minute, however, that my concerns about both chairs and both vices are not applicable to this committee.
To appoint members of the Planning Committee. Right, the Planning Committee is a concern of the Council, so as such, I believe that the Chair should attend and be one of the members. Other than that, I'm interested in people attending who've got planning experience. And of those on the Council that I'm aware of, we have Councillor Ware, Councillor Howell, Councillor Parker, who dealt with it extensively. However, I'm open to suggestions for who wishes to be on the Planning Committee beyond myself.
For the same reason as I stated earlier, hopefully my experience on planning at the district level can help, and I'm happy to stand and bring some value to this process.
Ideally, I would like to be on the planning committee for continuity purposes,
not wishing to propose myself, but I think that it's important for continuity and experience to bring another councillor in who can actually be mentored by those with greater experience. It's not something I'm firing myself.
You suggested someone?
No, because I've not spoken to anybody about who it is.
I've been chairman of the planning committee, I've been involved with the planning committee for an extensive period of time. I've looked at a valid knowledge of what goes on and how to deal with it, and I've put in lots and lots of applications and objections to planning applications in the past, and I think I can carry on giving some continuity.
So, so far it is me and 3 others. I need a 5th member of the planning committee.
Well, I would suggest about mentoring, if it was something Claire would be interested in.
I've got no particular interest or knowledge and experience in planning, so I appreciate that, but thank you.
Are you interested?
I don't mind, I mean, I haven't got a clue, so it'd be a steep learning curve for me, I'm not going to lie.
Well, no one has a clue when they first start.
Yeah.
We're all in the same position at the beginning. But you've got very experienced people around you who can probably bring you on. I mean, what you should know is at my age now, I have no intention of carrying on as a parish councillor after this session. And we need people to learn about the thing and carry on with the expertise that we gain to deal with planning applications in the future.
I think that's a really good point, Councillor Arthur, and it speaks to what I said earlier about being both chairs, both vices.
In that case, can I propose that myself, Councillor Bartle, Councillor Howell, Councillor Ware and Councillor Woodhouse form the committee? That's my proposal. Second, Councillor Cook. All those in favour, please. Thank you. Moving on. There's a requirement then to appoint the chairman of the council, member with special responsibility for finance. This is part of our internal audit controls. Would somebody like to propose?
I'll propose.
Councillor Bartle. And a seconder? Can we have those in favour, please? Thank you. Right. To appoint a member with special responsibility for the environment.
I would like to do, I can't propose myself, I would like councillor, but I'd like to do the environment.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Anyone? So all those in favour then of council? Thank you. Appoint a member with special responsibility for public transport. Councillor Winfield.
As I was in that hot seat for a year and did nothing because no one ever contacted me or invited me to any meetings.
I apologise, something went wrong. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I feel as I did nothing and I'm due to go to do something this year, so I'm quite happy to propose myself for that position.
Delighted to say we will ensure, the staff will ensure that you are notified of when
Listen,
certain meetings are.
you had the question I didn't ask. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those situations, isn't it?
All I'm saying is that somehow it didn't come to me, that's why I didn't matter, because I didn't get it right. Anyway, so I'm happy to propose Councillor Winfield. All those in favour, please. You are the second.
You're second.
That's fine. Thank you very much. I'm just going to confirm, it's just a confirmation that Samantha Norwich has very kindly taken over from John Boyd on the defibrillator, and she has agreed, she has confirmed that she will carry on doing it. Obviously, we wish her well in the job, but it's not a matter of voting at this stage. It's formalised in the minutes. To appoint a member to take responsibility for emergency planning.
I've got a question about that. Have we got an emergency plan on the shelf at the moment?
Not a very profound one, no.
Well, we did have, and it was run by Louis when he was the hall manager. It was quite extensive at the time and well accepted at high levels. So maybe it needs just a revision.
It needs revision, yeah.
Well, there we go,
There is-
now we've agreed.
There is a,
Show them it.
there is a, I can tell you that there is a guidance document from OCC.
Yeah, I was
I can
involved
dig
in
out if
business
not.
planning in my career as a sort of secondary activity, so I've done
Unless it may become more important in the future, particularly business continuity, if things turn really sour in Europe and somebody starts mucking about with internet access.
Drones.
I don't think it can quite come to that, but
Been drones over this country already.
yeah, hopefully not. Anyway, moving on, please. Thank you very much.
We need to vote.
Sorry, yes, we voted in favour. Councillor Wood.
Seconded very much.
Colour opposed, then I'll second.
You abstain. Point about the special responsibility for school liaison.
I'd like to carry on with
You can take anybody to put down to propose and second it, then all those in favour, if you formally show thank you. I appreciate your efforts, thank you. The point about the special responsibility for Speedy Watch. Personally, I'm going to nominate Councillor Pearson.
Thank you. Nobody wants to fight me for it?
That was
You're doing such a
definitely
good
acceptance,
job.
right? All those in favour, please. Thank you. To point about the special responsibility for the allotments. Councillor Woodhouse, may I take it
Yes.
continue,
Yeah.
please? So I propose that. Any
I'll second that.
all those in favour, please. Thank you. To point about the special responsibility for social media. This is in addition to the clerk who obviously does it.
I propose Councillor Brown.
Can I ask a question as to whether we feel this role is still necessary? Now that the staff have, the access and the ability and are, readily using social media, do we still need, if we do, I'm happy to continue with it.
Just because you're good at picking things up faster than I am on. I don't always check. And you ought to.
They're not getting out of that.
It's good to have that.
I don't want to get out there, I just wanted to check that everyone thought it was still something that was relevant.
Councillor Woodhouse.
Could that be a role that was split between two councillors, because it can be quite onerous to own all of that as an individual. And with our new website, I recently went on a online, it was run by Scribe, about how to bring your audience back into your website and actually using social media just as your sort of like base on your hook and bringing them in and actually developing your website as a way you do business. I did forward the piece over. I think it was a fantastic piece, especially with our new website. I think that there's potential for us to really raise awareness and raise our profile in the community, harnessing social media and use the website.
Okay, just a minute, please, Councillor Hunt.
If Lucy is okay to continue in her role, I think it would be better, listening to your point, if it's a single point of contact to the councillor, or if you could have confusion. We are some months off still from the website because we haven't seen anything yet. And so I'm nervous about that. So I think I would suggest actually propose that we have a slightly split role in the day-to-day management is with the clerk. In the greatest respect, I think Lucy's got to be on the pulse of village events and Facebook pages and various other
Yeah,
things.
it's kind of trends in governance is kind of how I kind of take it, and then kind of.
And you can throw, if there's an urgent need for something to do out of hours or anything else, we can post something.
Yeah, what we could do is, if we continue that way now, there's nothing to say that we don't address it throughout, because when I took it on, it was halfway through the year. There's nothing to say that when the website comes up and our digital presence shifts from purely social media, that we maybe then look at.
I'll share that education facility with you, because I think it looks like it.
Surely, if anyone else should be helping out with this, it should be Councillor Page. He's setting up the website. There's no need for another councillor to be coming forward.
I would prefer him not to be the
Or
social
just go
media
for one councillor.
because I'm keen for him to concentrate on the website at the moment.
Yeah, I'm content to go with the one it's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In which case, I propose Councillor Brown takes on the sit on all those in favour. To review the insurance quote for 26-27, what was that? Yeah.
And so we were saying people, there was a difference of £18. £18?
And if we choose to accept this cost, which is what I would recommend because they are the people who do the council, is they've agreed that that price affects is good for 3 years.
So we're locked down.
And it's only gone up £18.22. I was very pleasantly surprised. So I would strongly recommend to the council that it's worth doing.
I think so. Would you like to?
Is it just for 1 year, sorry, or is it going to
So
You've got
for 3? Great. I support that.
they'll hold it in 3 years.
Yeah.
Which is a really good idea.
So I would propose that we accept it.
All those in favour? Thank you, that's what we'll do. So, very good. So agree the council meeting dates for 26th. We'll move on. As you know, the normal form is for the first Wednesday of the month, excluding August, in the usual way. So that is what the actual proposal is. Is anyone with any reason?
Has anybody looked to see for any clashes with things like Easter and so on?
Easter's the end of March.
It's early.
Is there any interest in shifting it to the second Wednesday of the month? Would that support kind of finance preparations and things like that? Or is there a particular reason why you go for the first week of the month?
Would that help you?
Doesn't matter either way. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it helps me slightly.
Oh,
Which is why I was suggesting consideration, but obviously if it makes...
and real life things.
Oh, yeah, Tim's always away on the first Wednesday of the month. But it's not the end of the world, I just thought I would propose... I'm not even actually proposing it.
I don't mind
Does it always have to be the first week?
I've just had a flick through and I don't see there any clashes at all.
Other fact, I've already set it in my diary.
Does anybody mind if it becomes the second Wednesday?
Seems okay for me.
We've changed this 3 times since I've been involved with the council. And I think people have got used to it being the first Wednesday of the month. And I think we should stop switching it around. It used to be a Monday, then it became a Tuesday, now it's become a Wednesday. Let's just leave it where it is and not change it again. At least for another year when I'm not doing it anymore, I don't care what you do.
What do you think?
I don't mind leaving it, that's
If
fine.
it helps one member,
It's only, yeah, it's
if
only...
it helps one member of the council and there are no others indisposed by it necessarily, it seems sensible to consider. I mean, just to throw it out there as we're all considering options, isn't earlier start time any better for people? I'm very conscious that in the winter when we're sat here in the depths of night at 9, 10, getting towards 10 o'clock at night, it can be very depressing.
Call the bright side, Simon.
We've got to eat
There's
it.
a lot of 30 days.
I withdraw that because I saw the body language around the room, so I withdraw that and we'll just be more focused.
If I can bring us back to the essential point, is whether or not we think it's worth changing. And I don't have strong views either way, but if it would help Councillor Brown,
I'd like to propose that we move it to the second Wednesday of the month. second it.
Sure, I will second that. That's something that I think.
So, Mr Chair, a vote?
Those, is there,
I proposed it, Lucy seconded it.
Okay. Can we, the proposal then is to move it to the second Wednesday, but we've got a proposal of second Wednesday. Would you all vote, please, yes or no? Yes, in this case, if you put your hand up.
No. I'm a, no,
When does it start next?
But it would be June the 10th, I
June the
think.
10th, yes.
So that's
It
fine.
can't be before then. Right, and following on from that, there was a slight error when I approved the original agenda item, but under item 22, we said the parish assembly takes place, and it said on the agenda, the 12th of May, which is of course a foolishness, as it has to be before the next election, because we're covering, on the 7th, we're covering the previous one. So the actual proposal I wish to put forward is the 21st of April for us.
I'll second that.
It's a sensible date to aim for, and we can tell everybody that it won't clash with anything else in the church. The idea being that we're holding an annual assembly, that will be the conclusion of this session of the council. Excuse me. The vote will then take place if there are local elections next year. Depending on that, anyway, we're assuming there is.
You're assuming a Stalinist state where all elections.
Well, no, no.
Less than
Whatever's happening with the unitary authorities and the regional. So anyway, so that's the proposal, 21st April.
Second that?
I said I already.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, now those in favour, please, yeah. So we can put it in the diary. Thank you very much. Okay, to review standing orders. Right.
Yes.
These were sent at very short notice to everybody.
Yeah, I was going to actually suggest that we postpone that until the next meeting because they are quite extensive. I've already made extensive comments. If we could postpone that for proper review at the next meeting.
Thank you. Yes, Bob.
I'm very surprised that Councillor Winfield should be taking this apart piece by piece because it is based upon the recommendations of the National Association of Local Councils, of which she is a member. And if she is a member, surely she should be supporting the standing orders that they have produced, which have been adopted by most of the councils in this country. There might be the odd little tweaks that we need to make on it, but to make the kind of list of suggestions of changes that she has made to me is not right, and it shouldn't be even considered. We're here to consider this. It is accepted that this is what the National Association of Local Councils say you should do, and I propose that we do it.
Well, okay, there are a couple of things I
Yeah,
think that
but indeed, with
we
some
have
little
some
switches.
that it's specifically on the current standing orders that stand. We have.
But not to the extent that Councillor Winfield wants us to do, which is, I reckon, absolutely extreme.
Well, it's a review possibly, but anyway, what I was going to say is there were a number of items at the very end of the suggestion, the standing orders that were sent out today, which are just suggestions for looking at for a review. Within the standing orders, there are five paragraphs in red, which are the changes from the current standing orders. Okay, so the choice we have is either there was never any question in my view of accepting the final page which has got suggestions for reviewing. That's not currently reviewed. So if we were going to, we can choose as a council to look at the five proposed items on top of the existing unchanged standing orders that we currently have. We can either do that today or we can defer the whole thing. The question is which we wish to do.
initially was the opinion, having had the time to read the couple of bits, but recognise that others haven't, that they're very minor housekeeping, value add in terms of being courteous, doing training, doing various things, etc., that make absolute sense to adopt now, whilst further refinements in the future can be done. Personally, I was coming into this thinking these are sensible housekeeping additions that we can make now, but I will defer to others if they've not had a chance to enter to the
That's what I'm concerned about. If they've not had time to read it, I think it's very late, then I suggest we defer the whole thing at this stage. To the next meeting.
Can they be deferred, but with a longer term review of those more thorny issues that we
Yes.
discussed? Otherwise we could be here for 6 months,
Yeah.
without the obvious things being done immediately next month.
Maybe we should do what Councillor Howard suggested and accept the ones that are,
I think it was snookered by those who haven't
I
time
haven't
to
read
read.
it, so
If you haven't got the data, it's okay to defer it for 4 weeks, whatever it is,
Good.
5 weeks.
Yeah, I'm
And
fairly
do the
sure.
same 5 things potentially, and the agenda for the future.
Yes, my feeling is that likely that the ones that have been proposed are fairly trivial. I'm fairly sure that we could agree those at the next meeting without any trouble. Personally, that's my view. A more detailed review on other aspects that we might wish or not wish to do is a separate matter that takes a longer time. So I would propose to everybody that we defer the approval at this stage and we move on. Thank you. And obviously we'll have it read them
Yeah.
next time. To approve the privacy policy which was sent out to everybody. Again, I found it uncontentious. It seems to cover the physical stuff. Anybody review? Are we, sorry? No.
This is a standard thing that we have to do every year, and that it is just a formality, but we should agree it again for another year. So I would propose that we do accept it and move on.
Yes. Obviously.
I'll propose it.
All those in favour? Yeah. The next one being the retention policy, which again seems to be detailed and fitting in with what I believe it ought to be. Yes. So any comment on the retention policy? Read the comprehensive and very clear to me. In which case, can I propose that we adopt it? Somebody second it? Those in favour, please. Thank you. And finally, to approve the publication scheme, which we have, which again is all these formalities we have to go through.
Just to draw attention to item 2, confidential or exempt items may be excluded in accordance with legislation, just picking up on what I said about the earlier documentation and the LGA. Confidential or exempt items may be excluded in accordance with legislation, but they do still need to be limited without actually giving way to anything which is particularly sensitive. So
Absolutely.
it's not really exempting confidential information fully, it's treating them with the necessary sensitivity. It's an art, that's the way I've heard it described by class, that it's artfully creating minutes to protect.
Protect the relevant
While still informing.
confidential information, yes.
Nothing else on that.
Yeah. So, I'm content to take the publication scheme. Councillor Brown, all those in favour, please. Thank you very much. Those are the formal parts of the annual meeting. So we now run on to a truncated, as you will see, agenda for our May meeting. For those who would like things to be lengthier, I apologise for chopping out things like the speed watch report and the allotments and so on. Conscious that there is much more to go for the remainder of the evening. So, to approve the minutes of the parish council meeting that we held on the 1st of April. I'll be through the minutes.
I'd like to both second and propose, and I would like to say how beautifully crafted those minutes were. I did send a note to the staff, some of the finest of the so very much appreciated.
Thank you. Very much. Thanks, Bob.
Just an amendment, I'm spoken to the clerk to the council about it. I feel that if you're going to produce minutes about planning, just to give the number of the planning application is not sufficient information either for councillors or for members of the community. They really need to know what we're talking about. To have to trudge through the rails system, especially as they have changed it, and it's going to be much more complicated in the future, and I need to have spend some time with the clerk about this and to see how we can deal with it. I think it would be wrong not to say what the actual items are on future items on the minutes. And on the agenda as well.
I appreciate that point, but I think that now that things are becoming far more data-driven, the vital information is the reference.
It is if the Red the White Horse managed to sort their access to wretched data.
The access is going to become much more complicated.
Sorry,
Yesterday afternoon reading it. I was sleeping then.
Return to the minutes themselves. Do you want to take people who contend with the minutes? In which case, I'm prepared to propose them. Councillor Brown, all those in favour, please. Thank you. Well, now sign the minutes. Thank you. It's the public speaking time. Okay, members of the public are allowed to address us on anything they wish. Does anybody
I would ask, we've been talking about, or you've been talking for 2 or 3 months about this new website. When is it going to happen?
When it, forgive me, the only sensible answer to say is when it's ready, and it currently is nowhere near ready.
Really? Oh.
I'm sorry to say, yes. It requires considerably more work.
Oh.
I apologise it isn't any quicker, but it isn't. That said, the existing website does physically work. It doesn't have the access, as in, sorry.
Physically works, but it's not up to date and it's not fit for purpose.
It doesn't meet the accessibility.
No. Okay, well, I understood from the last meeting I attended that you were all reviewing it and it's nearly finished. But I was obviously misunderstood, I guess.
The indication we had was that the proposed development was well underway, blah, blah, blah. That has not changed in terms of the framework, but actually completing the website it turns out is considerably further from completion at this point. Forgive my strange language. I'm disappointed we haven't made more progress.
Right.
I can assure you it is a matter of concern, which is being chased, shall we say, if I may leave it at that.
Okay.
Sorry, any other things with our members of the public? Thank you for
I
coming.
think the website is important to acknowledge that it is actually a councillor who's undertaking that duty as a full-time continuing worker and on a regular basis.
Yes.
That does need to be noted.
Yes. Okay, to receive the County Council's report. Councillor?
Hi. Well, good to see you, everyone. So I'll keep it quite brief. So I think everyone's seen it circulated. I think the recent successes is obviously finally getting the potholes on the for 20 which is marvellous. And as we speak, they are literally working on the Fernham Road, so they should be completed tonight. So that's marvellous. I'm still working on the Highwood Road Kidson Trig Bridge.
They've done
That's
lots.
lovely, music to my ears.
It's not.
It's
I
not
wouldn't say
perfect. It's not
perfect.
perfect. It's not perfect. But it is, I'm glad my nagging has worked. So that is fantastic. So that's most of the things I wanted to mention. Just to say that there's the consultation about the post office relocation. That's open until the 15th of this month. And just to point out that there'll be a period of time where the post office is closed and the new one is not open. And so residents will be reliant on 2 other post offices, either in Highworth or in Swindon, because there won't be a post office available in the area. And there's also a homelessness survey. But just to mention, so future works that are coming in the next year, because I've just had access to that report. I think the only thing really in this area is the lay-by by the McDonald's that often floods. They're looking at trying to do flood alleviation. And they're supposed to have finished doing the tackling the flooding on the dip in the A420 at the Shribnham bypass. So if it starts flooding again, I'll be the first to start shouting. But I think it should be, I've seen that they've added extra gullies, so I think that they've tackled the flooding. And just to mention 2 things that have literally just come in. On Stainswick Lane, there's going to be a road closure from the 13th to the 15th of this month because of Thames Waterworks. And we've just had in the road adoption, so some of the roads have finally been adopted. Yeah, so Ballinger's, and then some of Colton Road, Roman Way, and Stallbins Road also. Yes. So we've got some road adoptions. That does mean that County Council can now address potholes and pavement damage and things on those roads.
Councillor.
Questions?
I'd like to ask you about the response by Oxfordshire County Council about the law application for building 200 houses on the golf course. I wonder if you were as disappointed as we were, and whether you think we can do anything about getting them to put a more positive report against the building of these 200 houses. Many people here feel that because of their response, we could have those houses, even though nobody in the village wants them, and apparently nobody in the Vale of the White Horse wants them.
Yes.
Is there something we can do to push them to be more positive about rejecting it?
Great question. I can certainly try. I don't know what leverage I have. I'm surprised that they would be, I'm also disappointed. I'm surprised that they would not be in support of what local residents are saying and also what the Vale is saying. So it is disappointing. I'm going to go back and speak to them, that's the best I can do, and try and see, also I'll have discussions to see what other leverage points I can have.
I think also that it was disappointing that some major departments didn't actually make any response at all.
I was glad it's incomplete, isn't it? So perhaps the lever in
Is
actually,
incompleteness,
there's
yes.
some big gaps here.
Because it was highways that were still outstanding. Yeah.
Which is probably
And I
the
did
important.
chase them and say, why haven't, because I know you prompted me last time to say, why haven't you participated in this consultation? They haven't. So that's a really good point, thank you.
And
Yes.
in all the
Yes.
reports from both Golf England and Sport England, or whatever it's called, big sporting
Yes.
organisations who think that this would be a disaster as well. I mean, I'm very, concerned about their lack of any sort of real, positive response on our behalf.
And I'm surprised because obviously I think or maybe it was a previous response, but from the archaeology team, they were very against this development as well, because that sits in county. So yes, I am really disappointed. Let me see what levers I can.
There's also the sewage problem you're aware with Thames Water.
Yes.
The current plan for Thames Water is not to amend our sewage, to upgrade our sewage treatment work and I can't remember the figure.
Yeah, it's about
2050 or something.
45 just
That is the
and we already are getting regular overflows into the
Yes.
swimming pool. That is an outrageous thing, and somehow that's just lost.
That was in my report to the
environmental. Yeah, but it comes under the environmental thing. surely,
Yes.
for the county as well. So that wasn't mentioned, and I still maintain that there must be a flooding risk there. I can't understand why you're building houses there.
With regard to the access,
Yes.
I do wonder if anybody actually visited the site. I do question that.
Yes.
Maybe you could find out if it was surveyed.
Yeah.
Work from home.
I think I've another question not relating to that. On your report,
Yes.
you said Highworth Road, this is scheduled work,
Yes.
Highworth Road in January and March 27.
Yes.
Traffic management in Shribnham Cross Trees. What is it?
I don't know. I don't have more details. I think it's just something penciled in. I'm not speculating to guess. I'm thinking it's probably because there's a new development there, and I have been raising that there needs to be traffic management for traffic coming in. I think they're going to be looking at it, but I've asked them for more details and they haven't given me anything.
Okay.
Can I add something to your list then
Yes.
for doing cross streets?
Yes.
Because it's brought to my attention by some local residents.
Yes.
Where you've got the two sides in essence of cross streets, and they've opened a path up now where children obviously walk across the school. You have delivery drivers and delivery food people. They're literally physically driving their cars across this to the other side. So back cutting,
Yes.
I can certainly send you a photo and show you.
Yes.
If you're doing road management, could we not have some sort of bars or like the old style gates
Yeah.
just to stop them going across?
Yeah. So I think initially, because the road won't be adopted, we won't be able to do that
No,
yet.
okay, see, probably be.
But we can put pressure on the developers to say, you know, this is a hazard. You know.
But there's the two. There's that one is bad,
Yep.
and then the actual entrance from Highworth Road. So as you go past the first stage yet again, that's an open path, and there's no sort of gates or anything. And you've got kiddies on like the e-scooters that are just flying up and down.
Yeah. If you can send me photos of both of those, I'm sure I can get them escalated. Because I know we did work with, when there was a cross-cheese footpath that they put in an inappropriate gate, and we were able to get them to have an accessible gate. So I think we can get this resolved with the developers. If you can send me photos and
Oh,
videos.
thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
I'm voting.
No, that's great.
Are you aware of Swindon Borough Council closing off the B4000 between Shribnham and Highworth?
Yes.
Later this month, ongoing until July.
I saw plans for this, but I keep seeing also plans saying it's being postponed. So I don't actually know if it's going ahead, if it's not going ahead, to what extent, how long.
I was just questioning whether SPC actually tell OCC what's going on, and in turn for you to know what's going on.
They do pass it on, or sometimes last minute, but they do pass it on, yes.
I think it's a real issue, to be honest, because they're also doing a lot of work in Sevenhampton.
Yes.
So we'll have Sevenhampton, the B4508 again, but won't be accessed. So everything will come through the village.
So I did raise this point, so they showed me, so I was complaining about the state of some of these roads, and they were saying that it's really tricky getting traffic management plans, because they showed me a map of all the planned road closures, and the whole area is just got scheduled road closures, and it's an absolute mess, and they're trying to think of how do you divert traffic. So it is a bit of a mess, and I think that's why some of them are getting postponed, because they can't have too many roads closed at the same time.
Well, today has been a classic example.
Yes, that's been a mess.
And we're getting more through the police now because they've got the road traffic.
Yes.
I'd like to know where they're going to put these pipes. Are they going to put them through the area where you've already just filled up the potholes? I mean, that seems to be utter nonsense if they're going to put them there. Can they not coordinate between different organisations?
I did ask this. I did ask this. Yes.
Right. I think perhaps the councillors are really
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Sorry.
Can I just pick up on
Yes.
the point on the post office?
Yes.
Is that being publicised? The dates when it's going to be closed?
Yes.
I missed it. Okay.
Anything else?
Councillor Martin,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
Okay. The next thing says that the district councillor sent her apologies because she's at the Muscat So we will move on to an odd item, number 31, to consider the cricket club applying for its S106 money. Just to explain, this is not our money. This is money that was originally earmarked for Shribnham Cricket Club. They now have a proposal to use their funds. There are two separate lots of cash. The first one comes up, it has to be spent by something like the 28th of October this year, which they intend to do. And there is a separate, larger pot, which comes up a couple of years later. What they intend to do is to redo the square in the autumn, and they would like to take a water take-off by our sports pavilion out to the new square. That's all at their expense. They have the S106 money. They're putting together the plans that will go to the Vale to ask for their money. There is, because it's S106 money, there is a legal formality that this parish council has to minute approval that the cricket club can use their own money. Okay? It's not our money. This is a thing that is legally required. We have to minute that we accept that the cricket club can use their own money.
So I'd like to propose that we agree that they can use their own money.
Absolutely, thank you. I wish to second that as well. But no expense is coming our way from this. I stress it's entirely them, but they need our approval so they can get on and get their plan out to the Vale. Because as you all know, with S106 money, the process of actually getting your hands on your own funds is lengthy. And they have literally got this serious deadline that they've got to be in action by September. So I'm prepared to second it. All those in favour, please. Thank you. That should be the end of it. Right. The next one is another fairly simple one, I think. To propose having a closed bid by the British Heart Foundation to be put in Martin's Road car park. You know that sometime, I think, 6 days away, British Heart Foundation would like to put one there. It turns out that we have to formally approve it. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's a no-brainer. So, I'd like to propose those. All those in favour, please? Thank you, Councillor Bond.
I actually did put a little bit of work
I'm sorry.
into it, yeah. I'm happy to say I put a little bit of work into what you can do, what you can't do, and who you can and who you can't have, which was an interesting exercise, so I'm glad to see it come to fruition.
Okay. Right, okay, the next one involves Councillor Winfield to consider approving nomination for membership of the Yorkshire Association of Local Councils Executive Committee, and there was an attached form. Could you give us the background in the first instance, please?
So the background is that over three years I've got myself really quite engaged and involved with the whole sector of council life. That's brought me into contact with councils around the country and with the National Association of Local Councils, both learning and contributing. I've really sort of found my place in the world. So there is a vacancy that's come up on the Oxfordshire Association's executive board. It is a mid-term vacancy, so it only has 1 year left to run. I'm already a member of the Smaller Authorities National Committee, and I think that this would be a great way to contribute, to learn, and to become a better councillor, a better advocate for communities.
What does the executive committee do?
They look at the governance and the procedures and how the local authority, how the county authority conducts its own business. So each of the county associations are actually independent companies of varying sorts, and they are not. They're not part of the National Association, although they do have a very close link. So it's there about providing the best service possible to councils that are members and the best possible service to councillors who are members of those councils. So it's acting as a sounding board, it's acting as a point of reference and information, clarification. They also offer audit services, local and clerk services. So it's not something that will impact on my life as a councillor within Shrivenham, though my experience and as a councillor in Shrivenham and our community as a really example actually helps to actually inform a wider group, because the executive committee is made up of nominated councillors from councils around the Oxfordshire area, and that includes clerks from various authorities. It's a good way, I think, to join ourselves up more with the big wide world that's outside of Shrivenham as parish council. And certainly for me, I see it as a great continuing professional development opportunity. And I would really appreciate the nomination from the council.
Views?
Thank you, Tara. Looking at the nomination form here, I just want to clarify one thing. I heard what you said. Are you representing Shrivenham, or what are you representing?
You take it outside of it actually being the council that you are a part of, that you are an elected councillor. So I would not be representing Shrivenham. I would be representing my experience and my views as an elected councillor.
Okay. And the term is effectively only for 11 months.
It's a 4-year term, and this is a mid-term vacancy, so it's 11 months.
Could I comment on that? First of all, you have to be representing Shrivenham Parish Council, because Shrivenham Parish Council have to nominate. Now, if I'd just like to take it right back, Councillor Winfield is already a member of the National Association of Local Councils, and she got there on a technicality without the agreement of Shrivenham Parish Council, which when we tried to oppose it, they wouldn't let us because it had already gone through on her own nomination. Now here we're being expected to nominate her again for a very important position in the local authority sector. This is Councillor Winfield, as you probably now come to recognise her, as she posts on Facebook with this caricature of her, and she then puts unauthorised postings on Facebook on a regular basis, having been asked not to do so, and having ignored requests, and carries on doing it. This evening we have voted to approve a member of the council to do this job alongside the clerk. Yet Councillor Winfield continues to do this in Facebook and did it this week, and she has not got authority to do this. Can we trust her to go on to this organisation and not make us look idiots with silly caricatures as she goes along doing it?
May I answer, Mr. Chair? The Facebook group, Facebook profile that you reference, Councillor, is my personal Facebook account. I have 2 Facebook profiles. One is clearly Councillor Winfield, and you will see that as Councillor Winfield, I never comment on or post on matters of this or any other council. It's my personal Facebook account, and freedom of speech allows me to exercise that freedom of speech. In fact, my right to free speech is held up in law by the European Commission.
A difficult topic. I'm reading your application, your nomination carefully. I will say that is partly noted in your nomination. I'll read it out. In that you recognise you're not an easy character, you have a strong sense of justice, and a drive to understand that whole governance. This has brought you with Claire into conflict, and she's shown resilience to build improved relationships. Unfortunately, I can't support this on the basis of the volume of conflict that is created, the number of code of conduct issues we've had to navigate because of your behaviour, and I would not want to, if I can finish,
I'm allowed to
I will not want to represent this council in any way, shape or form of a councillor representing us on a body such as this, given your behaviour that we have dealt with and navigating still, as we've seen this evening. I just think that is wholly inappropriate for this council to support you going forward.
I would like to say that mentioning the code of conduct issues last year is actually very, very disrespectful. You just outed me in public for having been reported for a code of conduct issue. A code of conduct issue
I
which
didn't say
a code of conduct issue which I'm going to remind all of you came to nothing. Came to nothing. And I would like you to expand on what you see this evening as my continuing behaviours. Please.
I don't have to justify my comments. I refer to code of conduct issues. I didn't say who and what they were about.
I think you
There are
quite
conflicts.
clearly said that the code of conduct issues and my behaviours, you have outed me as having been reported
No,
for
I
code of
did not
conduct.
say. You have just done it yourself, actually. But the fact is, you have brought conflict to this council, and I cannot sit here with all good faith to represent the village of Shrivenham and support your nomination due to your own recognised in your nomination conflicts that you bring.
Can I just finish that what you didn't read is over the next page? So I'll carry on from what you said. This has brought Claire into conflict, but she has shown resilience and is building a improved relationship. Claire is diagnosed with ADHD, which manifests as persistence, described by one councillor colleague as being like a dog with a bone. Claire's aim in joining the ILC committee is to learn, contribute and add her diversity status to the committee. And I think it's just important that I do add that.
Noted. I have read it.
Does anyone else wish to contribute anything before? Councillor Brown.
Yeah, so I just want to, I feel that it could be an opportunity for Councillor Winfield to get a different perspective and potentially get more experience and grow and support her in overcoming some of those challenges that she has put in for a while. So personally, something that I would support.
Can I just add, she's already a member of the National Association of Local Councils, and that doesn't seem to have done much.
Does anyone else wish to make a contribution at this point? Before we consider things?
Just one final thing I would like to say. Asking questions and challenging and seeking to understand is not a lack of civility and respect. It is not something to be punished. Having a different view is what democracy is about. I have consistently had such hostile treatment from many members in this room. I'd just like to put that onto record. I don't actually mind whether you won't nominate me for the executive committee. In fact, if you vote against nominating me for the committee, it will simply reinforce my belief that this council does not treat me equitably and fairly.
Councillor Pearson, a view?
No, I don't want to express a view.
Councillor Woodhouse?
In this situation, I would be happy to support Councillor Winfield.
Councillor Wyatt?
I'm trying to think about what benefit the council would have.
As I have said, it's not actually to represent the council. It is made up of elected councillors. I'm not representing Shrewsbury Parish Council. I am Councillor Claire.
Councillor Watson, please.
I think you will probably get good experience from it. As long as you're not representing the council, I would be happy to support you.
I'm happy that Lisa perhaps makes that clear with the committee.
Councillor Jones.
No, I probably agree with Councillor Watson. As long as you're not representing us to council, parish council, I haven't got any strong objections to it.
I think everybody's had a chance to have their say. I don't want any more say. The proposal is for Councillor Winfield. She has a second of Councillor Brown. The motion is, do we wish to nominate her? Those in favour, please indicate. Okay. In that case, we have voted. Thank you. Let us move on. We now go to the financial reports for March, which are all everybody's got them. The easy ones is bank reconciliations, which we never have a problem with, and obviously the detailed expenditure report for March, which in fact is obviously the one that covers the whole year pretty well. I didn't notice anything unusual on it. There are a few things which I'll bring up simply because it's the one for March, it covers the previous 11 months. So, starting at the top, where I've got odd comments, under the income, you'll see that VBT recharge is recorded as 129.6%. What that means is we've had slightly more income from VBT than we expected. That's all that means. And it's income. Equally, nationwide interest is dramatically higher this year than it was the previous year. And that's 246%. We then have grants received, which are associated in effect with the Children Faith Committee donating £6,000 to us to help with the donations, and the grants that we received was I don't know what the 10,515 was.
It was 6,000 from the faith committee.
So what's the 10,515? That's what I was trying to remember.
I can't, sorry.
I can't remember either.
No, I can't. And I can't get the
Anyway, I mean,
Oh,
the point is
it's not, yeah.
the only thing to say is that it meant that our income was increased for the year over what we budgeted. The staff salaries for the year are at 90%, and that is caused purely by the fact that for a period we did not have a clerk for a couple of months. In fact. The other ones that are not 100%, we very slightly went over on telefax and broadband, 103%. Licenses, 136%, that's to do with the ones that we have to pay. So, not much we do. And similarly with the software licenses, which have gone up. We will change the budget next year, we will change things. Clearly the village project produced a silly figure of 200%, but that's because the money has come in and has been spent. Was given to us. And finally, of course, the major expenditure that we didn't want was the election. The election cost us £11,122. If you carry on down, the only other things, these are ones that aren't 100% or similar. The grants were higher, which we knew. We had to pay for village clock maintenance, which we always do. We use the EMR to cover the difference. Some other maintenance is slightly higher. Our season expenditure was less than we expected. regardless of what happens in a year, there's nothing we can do about that. Plus or minus, just a fact. And what I finally want to draw your attention to is the allotment water has gone up dramatically with the change in water rates and the fact that we had some very dry weather at one point. As a consequence, that's 171% of our budget. Finally then, the grand totals on the income, it's 154%, and on the expenditure, 146%. So miraculously, we ended up the year nearly making money. We actually ended up £15,785 minus. So our reserves dropped by that amount. And I refer you to our election expenses, which is the bulk of that deficit. So I've run through the whole lot so that you can understand where we are. But overall, we have managed to stay comfortably within our reserves. And hopefully we'll continue doing the same next year. Anybody got anything to add?
It sounds like a very good job for the staff to manage the finances.
Under the circumstances, I agree. So,
Especially
sorry.
Especially that clerk reviewing, coming in, picking up loose ends.
Well, we should thank our members and staff for doing this. Particularly him for all the hard work she's pushing up.
Absolutely. It's a testament. So, it is my proposal that we accept the financial statement for March. Those in favour, please. Thank you. And the next thing is to list the payments for April, which we have. We all have, I guess. I didn't notice anything at all contentious.
Yes, can I ask you about the waterborne tactical management for grass? Having looked around the village, there's been no grass cutting at all anywhere for quite some time. It's getting disgraceful.
They have been contacted.
Yeah.
We are chasing them right now to get it done ideally within the week. They are aware that they have not done it.
I've got to say that they seem to be less trustful than the last lot. They seem to do a lot less, and we're paying them a lot more. Maybe we ought to go back to the people.
We're contracted to them at the moment, as you know, so we can't, can't just suddenly jump out of it. But the fact that they've not done verges thus far is wrong, and it should have been done. It should have been done in April.
They're asking us to pay them.
Well, we may drag on, but they're saying that they'll do a workshop.
Yeah.
But I'll give them a call tomorrow as well. It's really bad, it's bad.
Just one question on the payments. Moores Stevens, is they better known as Moores? Yeah.
So, aside from the fact, yes, we are not rushing to pay them, are we content to approve the account?
Just one question, or two questions. One out of curiosity. Nature Spine Lottery camera.
That's me, that's my trail camera. If you've been there, you know, so the camera's working, it's currently filming neighbourhood cats in my garden as I tweak it, but it's going out Tuesday. I've got a man with a ladder to put it out.
It was because of fly tipping and stuff.
Fly tipping, which is,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
currently in the pile
Cover the car park.
in the car park as we speak.
Thank you. Thank you.
Which car parks?
The allotment car park.
The second one, again, more clarification, this is probably for you, Lynn, just I've lost it on the page here. We asked as account licence for nearly 3,000, that's an annual licence, is it for all the various modules we have?
All of the modules, cemetery, allotments, making taxes, digital,
Yeah.
sales, purchase, non
proposed, I'll second it. All those in favour, please. Thank you. And that moves us on to agenda items for next meeting. Councillor
Neighbourhood plan. We really got to do something about this, particularly in lieu of the fact that, or in view of the fact that we've still got local planning applications hanging over our heads, and possibly others coming up on the other.
Yeah. Ideally, we will attempt to break down the existing plan into chunks, sections, to start. Hopefully, different individuals leading on different sections by the time of the next meeting, which is not till the second Wednesday. Next week.
So deferring standing orders, which we've already spoken
Yes.
about.
Yeah.
We need to have a discussion with our county councillor about road management
Yeah.
within the village, what we can afford to do and whether we want to do it in terms of the main accesses to the village. There are over five.
Whether we want traffic management.
Yes. And
Go on.
well, about 5 months ago there was a figure mentioned for what it would cost to actually do it, and need to revisit that and decide whether we want to spend any money on that.
Yeah. Whether we find any money to spend on it, whether, yes.
I'm sure you'll find.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously the Highlands Road is particularly quick.
Yeah.
There's not a problem, I think, on the B4000 pathway because of the zigzag that you get to come in. You have to change lanes, I mean.
Yeah.
So
What you find doing speed wash on Station Road is that where the traffic can get a good run at the traffic calming, they come bobbing up on the outside of it and then come round the corner at something over 20 miles an hour.
And then there's obviously the Longcott Road, which is dangerous.
Longcott Road is quite dangerous at the moment, particularly with a lot of rat running going on with the works on the A420. So we are doing more sessions on there at the moment.
Anyway, so would the council like to discuss possible traffic calming measures next time? I think that's what it's
Session to have, given some of the emails that Councillor Mark and I have received over the last few months. It's a hot topic in villages around traffic management and traffic calming.
Highway road is crazy, especially if you've now got the school there.
Yes.
People are literally accelerating, so when they get from the bottom of that barrel all the way up. So I know it's 60 over the bridge, and they're into the 60 basically going past the school. It's just dangerous, really dangerous.
It might be useful to find out what the council's plans are for, as it was mentioned in the report, that it sounds like there is some planned work on the Highworth Road. We just don't know what it is near Cross Street. So it might be get that information and then work with you and have a meeting about traffic calming more generally and see what we want, where we want.
The only one we've been formally notified about is the one on
the Townsend Road, yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware they were going to do anything on the B4000. I'm very pleased to hear that they.
Yes, so they've got something. I think it was in the report that the Highworth Road they have something scheduled, but they don't give any more details. So I'm going to find out more about what their plan is.
Yes, please.
And then we can.
I mean, it's very important because of the access to the school.
Absolutely. I've been pushing it, so this is probably why they put something on the agenda, because I have been pushing because of the new school location and road safety.
If you can find some more detail before next week, that would be very helpful. Anything else for anybody?
Just going back to Councillor Graham earlier, I think it's probably worth putting on the website and asking if we can have some visibility and view the draft website to be able to discuss it in the next meeting.
I wonder if maybe it should be a regular agenda point until it's up and running and
very little agree on both cases, thank you.
Yes.
That being said, the next meeting is now, despite what it says here, it's going to be Wednesday the 10th of June at 7 p.m. Thank you very much indeed.